Hi everyone, Tiernan here from Key Catalyst. Welcome back to another video from the Marketing Doctor. Today we're talking about the basics of Facebook and Instagram ads without getting burned. So assuming that you've never run Facebook ads or Instagram ads before, or you've run them a bit but you're still not super clued in on exactly what's going on. We've got three basics: audience, attention and conversion, but these are all based on the principles of tracking and that you've got your goals set up correctly. The most important part of Facebook ads is getting two things set up: your meta pixel and a conversions API. This is super important because what we want to be able to do is tell Facebook exactly what our goals are. For example, you're running a campaign and your goal is to get people to book a call. What you want to do is tell Facebook that that is what your goal is. And let's increase the weight. You want to be able to tell Facebook that you've got this specific goal. You want to then enable Facebook to track when people carry out that goal to go find more people like that person. You can do this manually as well, but it's much easier if you set it up as a conversions API, as a meta pixel. You want, rather than just a random awareness campaign, often you want something conversion focused, like a book a call, like a direct sale. If you've got something that's product or service based that people just buy, you want to tell Facebook, this is what my goal is, go find people who do that. And so the success of your campaigns will be predominantly based on your ability to set up the tracking correctly and properly set up the goals for your campaign. If we move beyond that and we assume that you've already set that up properly, next thing that we're going to look at is your audience, and there's two stages to your audience. Your first stage is that you want broad. So you basically want Facebook to go ahead and do its thing. So Facebook or Meta's algorithm is very good at finding people and testing loads of different random audiences to see which one engages with your ad the best. Let it do its thing in the first instance. Almost certainly the approach that we take most of the time. If we're setting up an ad, we'll just have broad targeting, which means we're not trying to tell Facebook what demographic we're trying to target. What we will do is just give it some location specific stuff. So if we're only selling in the UK, then we'll only have UK. Aside from that, it can target anyone it wants, and we're going to just let Facebook do its thing. Once the ad starts getting results, now we're going to make things more specific. So when the ad has already started to get results, we're not going to change a lot with the audience, but once I have an audience that's large enough, and you can do this from the get-go, but basically once you have an audience that's large enough, so you've got people who have booked calls, you've got people who have submitted applications, you've got people who have purchased from your product, so you've got an ideal customer, as in people who have purchased or people who are very close to purchasing. You want to take that list and feed it to Facebook and say, look, these are the type of people that I would like to target. Can you make a lookalike audience based on that? Usually with I can adjust the percentages of the similarity, but in general, first time you're setting up an ad, let Facebook do its thing. You don't need to be super involved in the targeting. Once you start getting results, or if you've already got a product that sells, then you can start telling Facebook exactly how to do that. Next thing is attention. So the whole purpose of an ad is not to sell your product, it's to get the person to do your next thing. We first of all need to get their attention before we can move them further down our funnel. So the two ways that we're going to do that is through our messaging and through our hook. There are a few different things that we're going to talk about here. Again, as always, I'm going to go back to messaging and ICP. Do you know who your ideal audience is better than they do? Can you use words that only they would use? Can you say things that they've probably thought about in the past day? These are all going to be super important for your messaging, because in your Facebook, you've got a headline, which is going to be the thing that people see. You've got your primary text, and then you've also got whatever is actually being said in the ad. We often use video ads, especially for people who are using ads for the first time. all of the copy that's being used, all of the things that are being said, super important that they are in line with your messaging and that you've done enough ICP work to be confident that that's the case. Once you're happy that you've got some messaging angles that you want to test, then you can move on to the next thing, which again, super important part of the ad, which is the hook. So this is especially if you're running, really only if you're running video ads, it's the first 1 to 3 seconds of the ad. You can imagine the people on Facebook and Instagram have been scrolling for the past few minutes. They give videos probably less than a second or a second on average. Bearing in mind, if I give something a second on average, it means that I also give 50% of other things way less than a second, so I'm literally just rapidly scrolling. And it's our job to capture their attention in those first 1 to 3 seconds. There's 3 really things that are important here. The first is what your verbal hook is, i.e. what do you say in those first 3 seconds that makes the person keep listening. Again, back to your ICP, because that's the only people we want to keep listening. 2, can we do something physical? So can we have a physical hook that gets people's attention? Think about throwing something at your camera. Think about jumping. Think about coming into the frame, then jumping back out of the frame. There's thousands of different ways that we can do this, but always have a physical hook that you're testing alongside these different verbal hooks. Third thing that you want to avoid is called the millennial pause. If I was about to run an ad, here's how people typically record ads to begin with. They kind of set their phone up on the screen, they pause, the video starts, and they go like this, and then begin talking. You've already lost probably the first 2 seconds, 1 to 2 seconds, just by doing that. What you want is the video to start and you instantly to have something that grabs attention. So think about verbal hooks, think about physical hooks, and avoid the millennial pause. Next thing, what is the purpose of our ad? The purpose of getting the right audience and getting their attention is to then move them on to my next step. So I don't often want them to purchase directly from an ad, because you haven't really built enough trust in order to get someone to do that. What I usually want them to do is download something, or sign up for something, or click on a landing page, whatever it is. Make it clear. Again, the whole purpose of every funnel that you run, the whole purpose of every aspect of your marketing is that it should be super clear what one person should do at one step and how they should move to the next step. We've captured their audience, we've set up tracking appropriately, we are targeting the right people, we're grabbing their attention, now we need to tell them what to do next. You say that physically, you say it verbally in your video, and you also communicate it in your text. You also can add some time-bound pressure, so in your video mention that only 3 people are going to be able to move on to the next step, or you can make that more specific to the product that you're selling. But whenever you're setting up your first ads campaigns, think about it like this. If you're employing someone to do it for you, make sure that they're using the right campaign objectives, so campaign goals, that they're focusing on conversions rather than awareness if that's what your goal is. Make sure that you've done enough ICP work to know what your audience is, and then so that you can grab the attention of those people using verbal and physical hooks, and then work on moving them on to the next step.